Hi guys, this is going to be your tide chart chapter 6 help video. So I had to fill in a few things ahead of time to keep the time on this down. I'm also using my iPhone because I'm still having some headset issues. So if it gets a little wobbly, I apologize, and I promise I'm going to the store very, very soon so that you don't have to deal with this. Again, go into Moodle, pull up the Chapter 6 tide charts, and when you open it up, it should land on the directions splash page. Now, sometimes it's on the wrong tab at the bottom, so just click directions. It's pretty long. Really, what you want to do is go to this website, so copy and paste that into your browser. And I already pulled that up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pick an area to look at the tides. I'm actually down in North Myrtle Beach right now, so I'm going to go to there, which is going to be the lower East Coast, so click on that. And then you pick your favorite area. You don't want anything that ends in current, and you don't want basin or bay or river, right? We want to look at ocean tides. So I kind of already have it prompted, so I'm going to go all the way down to North Myrtle, and I'm going to click on that. And it's going to give you 2 days worth of information, but it also gives you moon rises and sets and sunrises and sets, and we don't need that. So we're going to scroll down to prediction options. I'm going to change that 2 days to 3 days, and I'm going to suppress sunrise, sunset, lunar information. We don't need to know that. It makes life a little bit easier. Scroll down a little bit more and hit make prediction options. And then what you're going to do is copy and paste this. So Control C over to your Excel spreadsheet in the data area. So when you click in here for the first time, you're going to be up towards the your data. Hit Control, hold that, and hit Enter, Enter, and that's how you get a new line. Control V, and now we're all good to go. Now you'll see that these numbers are already filled in for me. I did that ahead of time. What you're going to do, I'm going to go a little bit closer, is that you're going to just put your tides in. 0.21 for low tide, 1.74 for high tide. You can go down in the Y values. You should have 12. If you have 11 or you have to stop short, sometimes you get an extra for a 13. That's fine, but fill in as much as you can. You don't need to add in an extra. It's going to be the times that are going to be a little sneaky. So for the first day, my first tide started at 4:30 a.m., 4:32 a.m., but we need this to be all in hours. I can't have hours and minutes. So I need to talk about like 4.5 hours or 4.25 hours. So 30 minutes is half an hour. So I need to say 4.5. And the first day is going to be pretty easy because you don't really need to do too much. It's already in military time. So 22.01 in a minute is about 22. It doesn't need to be exact either. Obviously 32 minutes is a little more than a half. How much more? I'll show you. You can find out exactly by going into your calculator and saying the minutes and then divide by 60. So that's really 0.53, but 0.5 is going to be close enough. But when you get to your second day, so you can see after the 22, that last high tide, and then I go to the 8th, and that first one starts at 5:15 a.m. But I wanted to keep it a running total. If I just put in a 5, it looks like it's another new first day. But I need this to be my second day, and 24 hours have already passed. So I need to say, well, 24 hours have already passed. I'm 5 and, 15 of an hour is a quarter of an hour in. And so I can't put 5.25, but 29.25. So all of those day twos, you're going to need to add 24 to, and notice when you type this in, it's going to automatically put it on for your X values for the model that we're going to create. And then you would work your way down and fill all of these in. And I'm going to kind of be a little bit of a cheat here because I've done this already a little bit, and that way we can go a little bit quicker. 7.5, right? And then now when I get to my third day, 48 hours have gone by, right? So you want it to not be another new day one. I need to add 48. So 5:56 is about 6 a.m. So 6 plus the 48 hours that have already passed, 54, and then you would work your way through. So now what I need to do, before I talk about making the model, I need to or graphing this. I want to make my model. You really only need to do 3 things because I already have that period wedged in there for you. Apparently, you're supposed to just know off the top of your head a lunar day is 5 pi over 31, or half of the lunar day, because since we're talking about a high tide and a low tide. So I already have that prompted for you. You don't need to worry about finding the period. You just need to find the amplitude, the vertical shift, and the horizontal shift. Now the vertical shift and the amplitude is going to follow the same rules that are in that last section of chapter 6. For the vertical shift, you're going to find the sum of your highest and your lowest tide and divide by 2. And for the amplitude, you're going to find the difference and divide by 2. So it looks like my highest is a 2.12 and my lowest, it looks like a 0.05. And the nice thing about Excel is that it will add and subtract for you. I'm going to kind of just come down here a little bit. If I say I want the number in the cell to be equal to the sum of those 2 numbers, oops, let me get that A18 out of there, divided by 2. I'll go in a little bit closer so you can see what I have there. When you hit enter, it's going to do it for you. So for A, I want that to be equal to the difference of my high minus my low. Oops, all right. It's bad at me because I didn't finish it yet. Divided by 2. And then you have your numbers in there for you. H, your horizontal shift, is just going to be the time of your first tide. For me, that was 4.5. Okay, so now here's a little bit of a sneaky part. Getting that expression written in here so that Excel doesn't yell at you. First, and it's a little strange, you have to put a little apostrophe. And then you're going to need to put a space between everything. I've noticed when the low tides start, you have to start out with a negative. So I'm going to say space negative, and then space, my amplitude, space, I'm going to type in cos, and space, parentheses, 5, I'm not going to copy and paste the pi, I'm just going to write pi, divided by 31, close that parentheses space, x space minus 4.5, close, and then I'll say plus the 1.085. So now when I hit enter, it doesn't freak out. Now, technically, this 5 pi over 31 times the quantity x minus 4.5 is all inside of the parentheses, like it is listed over here, but I'll know what you mean, and you don't have to fight with Excel. Okay, so now what I need to do is plug in my x values one by one into this long model cosine equation, but again, Excel can be a little bit of a pain. So what we're going to do is use our calculator and a pretty cool little feature that you may or may not know about, which is the ask feature. I want to scoot this over a little bit so you can see. All right, go into second table set, scoot the arrow key down to auto and then over to ask in the independent and hit enter, and you'll see it'll move over. Right, now go into y equals, and what we're going to do is we're going to type in our cosine equation, which was a negative, for me anyway, 1.035 cos, and all right, so now we're going to have a lot of parentheses. I have parentheses for the trig function, parentheses for my period, parentheses for the phase shift. I'll need to close both of those and then close the trig function. So I got a lot of parentheses right there. Plus 1.085. Now I'll hit graph, but honestly we don't really care what this graph looks like on here. It will probably look better if you did a zoom trig. What we care about is the table. We want the calculator to do substitutions for us. Now I'm going to say second table, and you see how it looks like it's blank? Watch, right? So type 4.5, so it comes up in there, your first time, and when you hit enter, it does the substitution for you. It's a beautiful thing, right? So you just put all those numbers in, you work your way down. Now you're going to notice that those values are going to be pretty close to what you have here, but not exact. I'm just going to type in a few because I'm on a time limit with this mobile app. And let me do one more. 0.07. Okay. The hundredths is fine. You don't have to go crazy. All right, so I have that listed in there. All right, so now we want to see both of these graphs. What you want to do is go up to your first tide under the raw data. Click in there, go over to the right, and then all the way down. Let go. You see how it's still highlighted? Go up to Insert, over to Scatter, and then pick the one that is Smooth Lines, and bang, there it is, right? Comes right up right away. Click on the blue bars here, and so you can drag this out of your way. Now what we want to do, that's the raw data. We want to put in the model. Right click on this white space, and you'll go to Select Data. Under here, hit Add. Series name, I'm going to call this Model, but you can call it whatever you want. And the X values, when you click in there, you're going to have to put in the equal sign and then pick your X values. I'm just going to stop right here since I only have those 3 Y values. Change these Y's. You're going to highlight the funny looking bracket, the 1, and then the other bracket, and then these other 3. When you hit OK, oh, so you can always see it in the background. Bang, there it is. You hit OK. And it'll be pretty darn close, but it won't be exact. If it bothers you that one says model and one says series 1, you can say right click, select data again, and then highlight the series 1 and hit edit. And then we could change that to be raw data so that you have it there. And then hit OK. And these are your graph. I mean, it's really cool. It does the whole thing for you. You're good to go. You can, click on it. You can say right click, copy. Come down to the tab that says graph, and then Control V for paste. Oh, there it is down there. So it pops up in weird spots sometimes. And then you can click and drag it over, and then you're all good to go. And then all you have to do is save it and submit it using your link in Moodle right there. I know I had to go pretty quickly because I had to keep it under 15 minutes or the app will yell at me. But let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be very happy to answer them. And keep your eyes on your email. Thanks. Bye.